Greetings to everybody in Bellevue, everybody at our online campus, and those of you who are here with us in Tacoma. And shout out to all of the men who are a part of Champion Center. We have some of the great, it's possible that this is something that is more meaningful to me than anything else in our church family, and that is the amount of great men that I look around and see on a consistent basis who are investing their lives into things that really matter and who are leading their families and their home. Not perfect men, but men who are consistent, men who are on point. We have them all over our campus. We have them out in the parking lots when you drive in, and they are there early, ready to greet you, meet you, host you. They are at the doors. They are in our children's ministry. Like years ago, we had like almost all women, like 80% women, and I said, this has got to stop. We need little boys to look up in their classroom and see men. And so thank you to all the men. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of the men. Right now, today, there is a family in our church whose 2-year-old baby, we call her Baby Legend, and that's actually her name, Legend. We just call her Baby Legend. Nearly drowned a few weeks ago and has been in a coma ever since then. This past week, the baby needed to be transported to New Orleans, Louisiana for some treatment that was available there for her. And so we rented a vehicle, and some of the men in our church took turns driving. And you're looking at some pictures right now of the trip. And that is not a short drive. And they left here and did not stop and arrived safely last night in New Orleans. Come on, isn't that awesome? That's our men, that's our church. So if you want to help out and help cover the expenses of the trip and medical expenses of the baby, you can give to Champions Foundation in the name Baby Legend, and 100% of what you give will go to cover our related costs and expenses. So text Legend to 97,000. Write that down real quick. Give you just a quick second. Get your phone out if you want to be a part of this. And just follow the instructions there to donate to the Legend Fund. And everything that you give to that will go to help cover the cost related to Baby Legend. Thank you to all the guys. They may even be watching right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all the people who are giving. All right. We are in a series this weekend that we're continuing, and the series is called Norm. We have a mascot, and he's been showing up on social media. Hope you're looking into that and having fun with that. Our team is posting, and we're just, engaging in this whole concept as we talk about it on the weekends. And he represents the natural tendency in all of us to conform to what is usual, what is expected, and what is typical. And just to be clear today, Norm is not a person. Norm is not a guy or a girl. I have a great friend who I love, whose name is Norm, and I got to talk to him this week, and he's laughing and has a great attitude about it all, and isn't taking anything personal on it. But I just want to say to you, your name could be Fred, and you could be Norm. And you could be a gal today named Mildred, and you could be Norma. We'll name you. So it's not about a guy, a gal, but this is an encouragement to be different in the right way. Not to be different just to be different. I hope you don't get that out of this message, that and take pride in just, well, I'm different, you know, I'm going to be different. Yesterday we were driving to church for service last night, and a person was crossing the street where there wasn't even a crosswalk, and traffic had to stop and accommodate this person who was doing it their own way. That's basically called indifference. And the Scripture teaches us to cooperate with one another and support our team and our boss and our friends. And so this series is not about just taking some sort of arrogant pride in saying, I'm different. This series is based on Romans chapter 12 and verse 2, and I want you to look at it on the screen. And it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's about being a Christ follower in a world where it's not common to practice the teachings of Scripture. So if you would today, say with me, my heart's open, my mind's ready. Make me better, God, by your word. I receive it, and I believe it, and I won't be the same again. In Jesus' name, shout a great big amen. How many of you would be honest enough and raise your hand today and say, I have felt the pressure to conform to things around me? I know what that's all about. You just be honest. I felt that. I sensed it. And the rest of you right now are not conforming to something good. That is called telling the truth. Like, come on. How many of you would say, I know what that feels like? In the growing up years, like beginning at age 8 or 10 and going through, to 25 or so, it's really a big deal. Peer pressure is what we call it. And being norm is the goal. You do at that age typically whatever everyone else your age is doing, because you want to fit in and you want to be accepted as part of the in crowd. You want to be liked. I remember when Jody, my daughter, was growing up, the tag of being the pastor's daughter was one that was on her. And so teachers in her class and friends at church and school and church members, from the time she was very young, they would address her like that. She'd walk in the room, that's the first thing they would say. They introduced her, it wasn't Jody, this is the pastor's daughter. And I remember in my mind, it just wasn't a big deal. It's like, what's wrong with that? You should be proud, be my daughter. But for her, that was that 1 degree of separation from the norm that was a part of her life every day. And as a kid, she just wanted to be norm. And I think that we can all relate to this in one way or another, like consciously or unconsciously. That tendency that we have to be more comfortable with sameness than we are with being different. That pull that we have, that gravitational pull to adapt and conform to our family norms, our social norms. And so that's why in this series I am attempting to set the record straight on being norm. And I'm hoping to convince everyone through this series that norm is way overrated. That norm is not a safe thing. It's not a good thing. And if norm is so good, why isn't it working? Well, why are most people so dissatisfied with their life? Like, why are so many marriages ending in divorce? If most people are actually doing the right way of life. Why isn't it working? Why so much financial pressure? Why so many hurting people today? Why so much hate? Why so many addictions? Domestic violence being as common as it is. If the norm is everything it's cracked up to be. And not only is it not working, norm is a trap. It's a trap. And if you get caught in it, you have no chance, zero chance of having anything other than what normal people have. Zero chance. So, I want to add another word today. And that is the word that I want to present to you that God has actually called us to be. It's the opposite of norm. God has called you and I to not be norm, but to be exceptional. Exceptional in the dictionary literally means unusual, uncommon, out of the ordinary. Somebody say exceptional. Look at your neighbor and say, you are exceptional. Everybody say, I am not born to be norm. I'm born to be exceptional. There is not another me. I am unique. I am wonderfully made by God. I am created to be exceptional. Jesus said to his followers, he said this one day, he said, you are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Now most Christians, when they hear that, like that shocks them, because if they, just the casual sort of comprehension of what the light of the world would be that we would say, well, the light of the world is not me. The light of the world is Jesus. Jesus is the light of the world. But Jesus literally said to some followers, tag, you're it. You're it. He didn't say, I'm the light of the world. He said, you. Everybody shout, me. Isn't that kind of hard even to say? Like, hey, I'm the light of my world. It's kind of hard, right, to say, but that's what we're called to be. We're called to be exceptional. Now, he's not telling them that they're better than everyone else. He's telling them that you're called to be exceptional. You're called to stand out, not fit in. So let's think about it for a minute. Because I can tell even when I say that, like the walls are going up. Like, oh, no, I'm not that great. You don't know me, and I don't want to say I'm great, and I don't want to say I'm exceptional and all of that. Like walls go up, right? Well, let's study it a little bit. The root word to exceptional is accept. So here's what it looks like. Take the sentence, everybody does such and such, or everybody is such and such in my family, my peer group, except me. And you fill in the blank. And if you're here today, well, let me just say this. Last weekend, I think it was the last service here in Tacoma, one of our pastors, John, called up Billy, a young man who's been coming to our church all his life, and he commended Billy because Billy, I don't know Billy's parents, I don't know if they're here, but Billy's the first one in his family to graduate high school. He's the first one. Now, Billy didn't just graduate, he graduated like a 3.7 GPA. Go Billy. Like, go Billy. Okay, now that's what that looks like. No one in my family finished school except me. All the men in my family left and abandoned their kids, except me. All the kids, all my friends, the people at school are having sex, and they don't think it's any big deal. They're all having sex, except me. The friends that I had in high school, they're all stuck in the party scene, struggling with addictions, living to get high, except me. I'm just telling you, God's called us to be exceptional. I said God's called us to be exceptional. My girlfriends are all undisciplined, out of shape, whiny. That all goes together, ladies. Except me. Nobody in my family is putting God first in their life except me. Anybody get happy about this? Is there any exceptional people in the house today? See, it doesn't mean you're better. It just means that you are what you're called to be, and that is exceptional. Not norm, but exceptional. You are called. I am called. We are called to stand out because we are not fitting in to the culture and what culture says to do. We're not just going along. I remember my mom used to say to me, I know, it's like I can hear her saying, she said it over and over and over and over again. So, son, Kevin, if everybody jumps off the bridge, are you going to jump off the bridge? And I bet your parents said something similar to that. Like at a real young age, like they're trying to say, don't just follow along and conform to the pattern of all the people around you. When I was growing up in church and Sunday school, there was a kid's song that we would sing. And many of you know it. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And as kids, we love that song. Like, this little light of shine, let it shine. Let it shine. Like my 2-year-old right now, he sings songs and it's not that one, and he does that right there. He just loves to do it, like while he's singing, you know. I am who you say I am. And he points like that. He's leading worship next weekend if you want to see. He'll be... But then we get to that part, hide it under a bushel. No! That's what we would do. No! And then we get a little older, more mature, and the culture starts kind of weighing in on us, and we realize that that's not what everyone else thinks is cool, and then we're like, hide it under a bushel. Okay. Right? I'm just going to conform. But wait a minute, God's done some great things for you. Wait a minute, Jesus has changed your life. Wait just a minute. You woke up today, and you're a blessed person, and you're going to hide that, you're going to conform, you're going to be intimidated. Oh, come on, somebody. You're going to be backward. You see, there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be haters. They're going to be at school. They're going to be haters at work. They're going to be haters on social media. Always going to be haters. You can't stop haters from hating, but you can stand out. You can't stop people from gossiping and complaining, but you can get up and walk away from the table. Well, what's wrong with her? Who she thinks she is? She more holy? No, I'm just exceptional. I'm exceptional. That's what norm people do. You can't stop people at work and school and church from being critical. But you can stand out. See, light stands out. Light doesn't fit in. Jesus said, you are the what? Shout it out. The light of the world. And light stands out. Turn around and tell somebody, you're called to be exceptional. You're called to be exceptional. Come on. You're called to be, come on. We are called to be exceptional. So it's not normal to be a Christ follower. In fact, you might be the only one in your family who has decided to follow Jesus. But I want to tell you today, because you don't hear this often enough, and that is that doesn't make you inferior. And it doesn't make you less intelligent. And it doesn't make you naive. That's just all the words they use to pressure you to conform. Hold your head up high. Don't you dare be intimidated that you made a decision to live life God's way. Don't you let what they say pull you down. I remember I was in a store a couple of Easters ago, and I was wanting to get a jacket for Easter weekend. And I remember as they said to me, well, what's the occasion? What are you're looking for something, what's the occasion? And I said, well, I'm going to church this weekend. I want a new jacket for church. And she looked at me kind of funny, and literally within about 5 minutes, I think there was 4 employees standing around while I was trying things on. And the conversation was, he's buying it for church. He wants something for church. I remember looking at all 4 of them, and man, just something got up in me. They were saying, they're kind of condescending, like, church, he's going to church. And I looked at all of them, I said, you're not going to church on Easter? You're not going? And you're not going. And you're not going. Like, did you know Jesus rose from the dead? You can't even get out of bed. Like, come on. We had a good laugh out of it, but that was my way of saying back off. I'm not going to take that. It's not normal, maybe, in your life to have chosen the direction that you have chosen, but don't you dare feel intimidated to walk with Jesus and to live a life that He's called you to live. You know what else? It's normal when you feel offended. I preached a series on this not long ago. I'm just giving you some examples. It's normal when you feel offended to drink the poison and become offended. Being unoffendable is exceptional. That's what's exceptional. Come on, I said that's what is exceptional. We're called to be exceptional. Like your friends will say, well, I'd be upset if I were you. I wouldn't take that. Like I'd give them a piece of my mind. Like I'd quit being a part of that group. I'd quit going to that church. That's what norm says. Exceptional says, no. I'm not going to drink the poison. I'm not going to allow myself to stay in a place of offense. I can feel offended because I'm human, but I'm going to pray my way through it. I'm going to bless my way through it. I'm going to forgive my way through it. I'm going to get up on the other side of it because I am what? I am exceptional. Anybody happy today for the way God has come into your life and is teaching you a better way of doing things? Amen? Come on, I think we ought to give Him a great big hand right now. We ought to just give thanks for God's way. It is above our way, and it's a better way to live our lives. Now, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this one. Perhaps one of the most unusual things that Jesus has called us to do is to serve our way to greatness. To serve our way to greatness. It is not norm to see serving as an ingredient in the recipe of greatness. That's just not norm. There's a scene in the Bible where a mother of two of the disciples, like there were two brothers that were in the 12 disciples of Jesus, and their names were James and John, and they were sons of Zebedee, and their mom came to Jesus with them present and said, Jesus, would you do me a favor? Would you put one of them on your right hand and one of them on your left hand? That was positions of power lingo in that culture that day. Would you put one on your right, one on your left, and like now and in eternity, like have my boys there? Would you do that? Now, first of all, parents, that's not cool. That is not cool. It's like a parent who wants a teacher to give their kids a grade that they didn't earn. They want the coach to put them on the team whenever, you know, they can't play. Like, it's like, it ain't cool. Don't be that parent. That's all I'm saying. I had to say that. Like, don't be that parent. Don't be that parent. The other 10 disciples, though, they heard about this, and there was a backlash. And there were arguments over who deserved recognition. And so the norm thing happened. Like, hey, did you hear? Like, their mom, they went to Jesus and said, hey, put him on the right, put him on the left, and da-da-da-da-da. And they just all got real normal at that. Well, why do you deserve to be on the right? What makes you think you should be on the left? Like, if anybody deserves to be, I do. Like, and that's what they started doing. Real norm, competitive, like, you know, one-upping one another. You're no better than me. Who do you think you are? And Jesus had a teachable moment, and he said, guys, listen to me. I know that you've watched this kind of approach go on with your religious leaders, with your political leaders, where everybody's like trying to one-up the other, elbow your way into status, and, you know, you're hungry for positions and status, and just opportunistic, and manipulation, and you got that. That's what you see around you. But my call to you is to serve your way to greatness. And here's what Jesus literally said in that moment. He said, if you want to be great, learn to serve. If you want to be great, learn to serve. How many of you know that's not norm? Like, that is not norm. I love the fact that Jesus did not rebuke them for wanting greatness. I love that. And unfortunately, in a lot of religion today, when you talk about dreams and you want to be better, and you want to be all you can be, and you have things in your heart you want, a lot of shame goes on, unfortunately. But this was Jesus' chance. I just want to say to you, he had the chance right there to shame them and to say, shame on you for you guys even talking about that. Like, shame on you for wanting to be great. That was his moment to do it if he felt that way. But you and I all have an innate desire God put in us to not just live a mediocre, average, or lower than average life. We all have something God put in us. I said we all have something God put in us. And I would hope that the fathers today have a desire to be great fathers. Not just average fathers, but a great father. Pastor Nicole, our campus pastor here at Tacoma, I've often heard her talk about their family meetings. She has 3 kids, and they have family meetings for conversation with their kids, and that's a regular deal at the Moore household. But I just found out today that she learned that from her father. When she was growing up, her dad had family meetings. That's not norm. I said that's not norm for a family to gather like that and have conversation to the point where everybody starts interacting and engaging and sharing and talking and fessing up and being confronted and all of the hard but good things that happen in a family meeting. Like, that is not norm. Thank you to a man, his name is Roger, by the way, who stood up and did that, like, in his family. We're not here to be norm, we're here to be exceptional. I would hope that all the students at Champion Center want to do something great with your life. Not just kind of get along, go along with everybody. I hope that you have a burning desire, like, for greatness in your life. And I'm hoping that you want a great marriage, and you want, I hope that everybody that's a part of our church wants our church to be a great church. Really hope that. And think about it if you haven't thought about that. Like, consider that. Like, a lot of you are here because we're not norm. You came here because you walked in and it wasn't what you expected. It wasn't the usual. And there's people who are preparing all week long to bring you in with hospitality and to have worship sessions where your heart is touched and you're drawn closer to God. And we speak messages that are relevant in your life. And it wasn't norm, it wasn't usual. And I just hope as you come in that you'll join us in the passion and the ambition and the vision to not just be a norm church that exists in a city, in a community, but to break the barriers and to be a great church, a life-giving church, a church where unusual things happen in people's hearts and people's lives, where it's not common, come on, not common, but unusual things. So, I only got a couple minutes left. I want to stay with me here. I want to take you through this. Jesus knew when he talked about serving that this was associated with, in their minds, with lowly status. Like serving meant you were a little low on the totem pole. And he knew that people who served often served because they felt inferior. And it would be a statement of low self-worth. He knew that when he said that was like, whoa, that was going against everything in the culture. To assume that greatness came out of serving. But Jesus basically is saying, serving doesn't make you inferior. Serving doesn't make you less than. Serving doesn't make you somebody who's down on the... Serving is what makes you great. Like, you gotta flip this. You gotta get a paradigm shift about this. And I want to tell everyone this weekend, if you want to add value, if you want others to see you as exceptional, as making a difference in their world and their life, learn to serve. If you want God's favor, God blesses people who serve. And hang on, thank you for wanting to clap, but hang on. You got to get this one, then you can clap. If serving is beneath you, greatness is beyond you. Wow. Somebody tweet that. All you got to do is look around. Isn't it interesting that the greatest businesses of our time are built on serving the interest of others? Providing people with the best experience, one that is serving their interests. Isn't that amazing? Like the biggest, the greatest, the ones that do really, really well, that have a lot of happy customers. Those are businesses that are built on serving the interests of others. You know why? Because it's the simple principle that Jesus talked about that day. And one of the first things you got to get rid of if you're going to experience greatness, if you're going to have God's blessing in your life, is the idea that you're too good to serve. Or that serving is beneath you. Great people serve. Healthy people serve. happy people serve. In fact, studies show that when we are serving other people, endorphins get released in you physically. Psychologists call it helper's high. Helper's high. They've really coined something because you literally have endorphins released when you are serving the needs or the interests of other people. So when you are depressed, when you are feeling down, please, young man, young woman, a lot of young people, you're growing up in a culture, it's all about you, and you only think about you, and am I accepted? Am I wanted? Am I fitting in? What do they think about me? Me want this, and me want that, and me didn't feel loved, and me, please hear me today. When you start going down that path and you're feeling depressed and you're feeling unwanted, try it. Try serving. Try serving. Something will happen. Even physically, something will happen, and you'll begin to have a physical high because God created us. God created us in a way where when we serve, our life is blessed. When we serve, we have exceptional joy. When we serve, we have exceptional sense of goodness in our life. We don't get down and depressed and stay down and depressed because what we do is we do something the world calls weird. And that is we go find a way that we can serve. Because greatness comes from serving. Greatness comes. Come on, let's give the word of the Lord a good hand today, can we?
Thanks so much for joining us online. Here's what we would love for you to do. Click on the logo on your screen to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every week we're uploading our messages, bonus content, and even some videos that are guaranteed to make you laugh. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.